Call the school board meeting to order.
That's what changed.
Gotcha. You got it, Dustin? Spotlight, first thing on the agenda this evening, our wrestling program has done a phenomenal job this year. That's the team picture up from the beginning of the season. And just to kind of some highlights, the Hoosier Heartland Conference champions did wonderful there, and it continued on. The 6 people that were champions in the conference, Luke Weaver, 126, Jacob Moss, 150, Jake Cole, 165, Donovan Story, 132, Jake Weaver, 157, and Noah Weaver at 215. It continued on. Out of the sectional, we had 7 qualifiers. Luke Weaver, 126, Dalen Lynch, 144, Jake Cole, 165, Noah Weaver, 215, Colton Klez at 175, Jacob Weaver at 157, and Donovan Story at 132. Out of that, we go on to the semi-state. Regional was at North Montgomery. The sectional was at Frankfort. And then they went to Newcastle for the semi-state. Those qualifiers that went to semi-state was Luke Weaver at 126, Jake Weaver at 157, Jake Cole 165, and then Noah Weaver at 215. On to the state. That's a Friday night, Saturday at Indianapolis. You had to get out of Friday night, and then you started wrestling all day on Saturday. It's all day, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought so. Long day. And our folks that were at the state qualifiers, Jake Weaver, 157, Jake Cole, 165, Noah Weaver, 215. And in the evening that night, on Saturday, we had Noah Weaver, who was the state champion, the second time in a row. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep. And then he was also the 2025 Ward E. Brown Mental Attitude Award winner for boys wrestling. That brought back $1,000 to the athletic department.
Scholarship.
I assume your kid's keeping it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, we'll use it towards scholarship. At the
Okay,
end of the
scholarship.
season,
And then Ward Brown was a 1935 graduate of Rossville.
Oh,
just
really?
so you know. Yeah. So congratulations, gentlemen. I'll turn it over to Mr. Burkle.
To piggyback on Ward E. Brown, so he actually also was a former IHSAA commissioner, and I think in the late 60s, early 70s. There's a plaque down by the boys' locker room at the main gym there that highlights and his accolades through his career. But those in attendance tonight, Colton Klez, Jacob Cole, Finn Mash, Landon Yagi, that Noah Weaver kid, Don Story, big Noah Stingley, Jacob Weaver, Luke Weaver, and then one of our assistant coaches, Matt Weaver, and he'll come up and highlight some things, accomplishments for the team and for Noah as well.
Well, thank you for allowing us to come in and being able to give some appreciation and honor to these young men. They've put a lot of work in over the season, and Mimi Nichols, who's not here, she did as well. I mean, being a freshman and a state runner-up is a pretty amazing feat for her. Wish she was here to share in some of this. But, you know, for us as the coaching staff, we always put academics first above the athletics. And so some of the academic accomplishments that I'd like to state that these young men have put forth is we have a team GPA of 3.52, which is one of the highest in the state in regards to wrestling and a lot of the other teams as well. We had 12 honor roll students. We have 6 academic all-state, which would be Jacob Cole, Nathan Freeman, Jacob Weaver, Dylan Lynch, Jacob Moss, and Noah Weaver. And then we have 2 academic all-Americans, which would be Jacob Moss and Noah Weaver. In regards to our season as a whole, our dual team record was 25-4. It's the second best that we've ever had in history here at Rossville. We were back-to-back conference champions as a team, which took the effort of all these young men. We were the first team ever to qualify for the 1A team state in the history of Rossville. Unfortunately, we lost our first round match by 1 point, which gave us an opportunity to be in the top 8, which we did, but unfortunately, we would have rather been in the finals, but that's just the competitive side of me anyway. But as a team, after the state tournament, with the number of qualifiers and the placements that we had, Rossville finished 13th in the state within the IHSAA tournament as a whole. So again, an amazing thing. We have some 100-win wrestlers, one being Will Roberts, who is not here. Jacob Weaver was a 100-win wrestler, and Jacob Cole. So we see many more wins to come in their future. Noah ended up this season, I believe, 175-9. So that's quite an accomplishment. And Jacob are going to be really close. I don't know if they'll get quite there to beat it, but I think they'll be in the running over the course of the next year. But then to highlight as far as Noah goes, you know, I'm his dad, so I guess I can be a little bit biased, but these are just some facts and statistics that I personally didn't even know some of them. So his GPA is 4.29. He's currently #1 in his class. Two-time academic All-State, two-time academic All-American. Just announced as a finalist for the National Merit Scholarship, and will be attending Purdue University next fall in wrestling for them. And there's other accolades too, but at the end of the day, it's not just about him. As a coaching staff, we're very blessed and privileged to have these young men and women to be able to work with them, help them become better as individuals and as wrestlers. That's our main objective and goal. And there's a lot of work to be done, but they're definitely driven, and they have a purpose and a vision on where they want to be as individuals and as humans, and we're just grateful for that. So again, thank you for the time to address the school board. And we appreciate all that you've done for us, allowing use of facilities at times, bringing in outside people to help teach them and give them some instruction. It's proven to be very, very beneficial. So thank you on behalf of the wrestling team.
Thank you. So you don't go away empty-handed. Mr. Burkle has something he'll hand you, and then also just from the standpoint of following wrestling 6 minutes is not a long time, but a long time. Yes. If you're on the mat, is that right? Yeah. So, and some of these people did a phenomenal job. Well, everyone did a phenomenal job. It was really impressive. We had 7 go on out of our sectional. And the fact that we have a tough sectional. You're up against Westfield, right?
Yeah, so Westfield, Carmel, Fishers, Hamilton, Southeastern, Lebanon, and then all of our county schools.
Right. And we beat Carmel, I know.
Correct.
In regional, I think we were 5th. Does that sound right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're just a few points shy of surpassing or placing in that top 4 position.
And to give you kind of a Brownsburg kind of dominated this year in team-wise. They had 240. At one point, I saw 243. I don't know if it's more than that.
I think they broke the actual record.
Okay. So,
something ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah. And there were some very interesting matches, not only ours, but the ones on the floor where the kids lay all over the other kids. Yes. Kind of interesting. Just bring that up. His bulldog at the end was ran at the top, but it was, let's see, they're purple. They're purple. Yeah, so thank you guys for coming.
Yes, thank you.
And if you want to stay, you can. Not to say that most do, most don't, but you're more than happy to stay if you want.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
I would stay, but I have a lot of work to do. So
If no one wants to stay, somebody can drop them off. No? Okay.
I got a little bit of bio to do. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you. Public comments? Huh? Yeah, you're good. Yeah. I don't think you have anybody. Last chance? Nope. So you don't have to read.
Yeah, I think we'll just continue on.
First item on the agenda is approval of minutes, consideration claims and payroll. February 4th, the regular session. February 4th was an executive session. Board members received the claims docket, payroll claims, and minutes in advance of the meeting. Fund and bank reports were also supplied for the review. So I have those for your review and consideration this evening.
I move we approve the minutes, claims, and payrolls as presented.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes, claims, and payrolls as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is a resignation. Haley Saladike has submitted a resignation as an elementary teacher effective at the end of the 24-25 school year. Also, FMLA leave. Oh, Lila Kaminsky. Kapinski. FML September 2nd through the 19th of December, and she'll return to work first day of second semester, January 5th, 2026. FMLA, Mr. Dennis is recommending Kathy Jackson to fill in as a substitute for her at a rate of $239.25 per day. Summer assistant position, Mr. Gorbert's requested adding positions for assistants during the summer month in preparation for the school year. The individual would be employed a maximum of 25 hours per week at a rate of $14 an hour. Duties begin June 2nd and would conclude July 25th. And that's the personnel items I have for you.
I move we approve the personnel items as presented.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the personnel items as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Updating the policy manual, we utilize the services of the Indiana School Boards Association to keep the policy manual up to date, and we have every quarter we will receive policies that is recommended for review. There will be more coming out of maybe more coming out of the legislative session. Once that's concluded, we have a few this evening for that are new and a few for second read. The first is use of equipment. That's a new policy, recommendation of ISBA to establish that. And then I reviewed student searches. They proposed a policy. I had Julie review this policy, and she said it's fine the way it stood. So that's just up for review. So those are your first reading policies. The next one is 3220, professional development conferences and meetings. That has been revised. And then 5510, educational related activities, has been revised. Those changes basically, I'll still come back and report the conferences. Previously, it was overnight and out of state that we brought to the board. A good example would be the wrestling program, who wrestled before and they went down and stayed overnight. So it gives me the authority to approve it, and I'll bring it back to the board for review.
I move we approve the policy items as presented.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the policy items as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Audit results, the district ended its audit conducted at the direction of the Indiana State Board of Accounts, performed by Crown LLP. The audit period was from July 22nd to June 24th. Audit draft is presented to the board as an informational item. The final audit report will be posted to the state and district website once completed. So we just had an exit interview, and it's still in the review process. So once that happens, it gets posted. Any questions about that one? Fund closure. The district just completed the audit period, fiscal year 23 and 24, ending June 30th, 2024. Several funds that can be closed due to its inactivity or zero balance. One fund has 16 cents balance, and request authorization to transfer those funds to the operation funds and close that account. The resolution was provided for your review. Another financial item, Farmers Bank has donated $150 to the Academic Honors Program. And so that's what I have for financial items.
I move we approve the financial items as presented.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the financial items as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Hammonds has requested 6 $500 more scholarships and 5 $1,000 Luella D. Davis and Everett D. Davis Trust scholarships to be awarded to students in the 2025 class. Scholarship recipients will be selected by the scholarship committee. So that's a miscellaneous item. Also in the miscellaneous overnight field trip, again, this is a retroactive one. And since you just changed the policy, I brought it forth. The wrestling team requested permission for an overnight field trip to attend and compete in the 2025 IHSA State Championship. 3 individuals qualified. The event was held at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on Friday, the 21st through Saturday, the 22nd, and then recommending retroactive. They start Friday at about 1:30 in the afternoon. Our kids, because they were all above 150-pound weight class, didn't start till like 6:30 that evening. Then you came back the next morning and you started at 9, I think 8 or 9 o'clock, and then I think Noah was the only one at the time wrestling, and so he wrestled around 11, and then again at 2:30, and then he had the championship match that night. Championship match didn't start till 7:30. So when I said it was a long day, it was a long day. And overnight field trip, the varsity and junior varsity cheerleaders requested to attend an overnight camp July 22nd to the 25th of 2025 at Anderson University, recommending that overnight trip. And out-of-state conference, requesting approval to travel and lodging expenses to attend the TransFinder annual conference in Nashville, Tennessee, March 30th through the 2nd. I was awarded one of 3 scholarships covering the full $1,275 registration fee, which I thought was high, and seeking social support just for travel and lodging. Originally I saw it, I had been before and I thought about it, but the registration fee was just too much. And then they came out a few weeks ago and offered free scholarships. And you just had to write a page about yourself. Well, out of the AI conference I went to, I created a song. And I submitted the song, and my wife says, "You'll never win. They won't take that." Well, she was wrong. Point that out if you see her. And so they picked it, they loved it, and I told them, this is in Nashville, Tennessee, it's the music capital of USA, or Music City, USA, what a better way. And so then afterwards they asked me to send it to them, which I've done, so I won't be surprised if I hear it at the conference. So with that, I'm just asking for transportation and housing for that conference. Then overnight conference request, Tommy Dillingham's requested Officer Mitch Cottrell to attend basic school resource officer training in Michigan City. It's the week of June 16th to the 20th. It aligns with the Indiana school resource officer training. They have a conference up there, and it aligns with that, and you can get your certification for that training. It's mandatory for officers who work regularly in school. So with that, that's the miscellaneous items.
I move we approve the miscellaneous items as presented.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the miscellaneous items as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Before I get into field trips, I will tell you that the auction concluded for the tractor. It sold for $7,600, which was, my understanding, pretty good. It was a 4010.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And it was purchased by a gentleman from Louisville, which I was happy with because the other bidder was from Alaska.
Oh, really?
So,
boy.
That'd been cool.
So with that, the Rossville Singers went to the Circle of State song in Crawfordsville on the 15th of February, work-based learning on the 20th, CTA Cooperative in Frankfort. The seniors, Appeals on Wheels, they go to a court case in Frankfort on the 27th. Soils team competed on the 3rd of March, and coming up on the 7th is Life Skills headed to Oasis Park in Lafayette. More field trips, the FFA Environmental Contest on the 12th of March, Monticello, AP Environmental Science on April the 9th at Caterpillar, AP English at Indiana Repertory Theater on the 22nd, kindergarten, kind of threw me when you did that KG, on May the 14th, the bowling in Columbia Park in Lafayette, 3rd graders Prophetstown in bowling. On the 15th, second grade, Children's Museum in Indianapolis on the 15th as well. Conference request, Casey Hall headed to practice test 35-55, Lafayette, excuse me, and Dustin Shadbolt's the Indiana CTO Clinic in Noblesville on May 1st. Nope. Yeah, 1st and 2nd. And that, I think, is all I have.
Okay, our next board meeting will be Tuesday, April the 8th at 7 p.m.
Here.
Right in
You
here.
know, right in here.
Right in,
right in here.
right here.
Yep. Need a motion to close the meeting?
I move we close the meeting.
Second.
And properly moved and seconded to close the meeting. Thank you for attending.